a new town accountant in the community gardens takes center stage at the latest meeting of the Board of Selectmen. Workers hit a gas main during the Elm Street Construction project. Residents in surrounding homes are evacuated. We have an update. And what about the Elm Street project? We take a look at traffic problems you need to know about, where things stand, and when it will all come to an end. And the East Long Meadow Recreation Department gets ready for the grand opening of the brand new Pine Knoll Pool. Those stories and more just ahead on ELCAT News Week in Review. Good evening, I'm Yasmin Najubi. We begin tonight with information you need to know from the latest meeting of the Board of Selectmen. At issue, among other things, the hiring of a new fireman, finding a new town accountant, and the town's community garden. At Tuesday's Selectmen meeting, the board heard updates on several fronts. Heather Cunningham from the Friends of the Brown Farm reviewed activities at the community gardens, noting that all 30 of the available plots are under cultivation this year and are already reserved for next summer. Cunningham presented a site plan showing room for additional garden plots and said the group hopes to make them available for 2015.
Friends of the Brown Farm request the approval of extending the gardens for 2015 to meet the request of the citizens for additional garden plots. Our proposed approval site plan I have, the area requesting between the existing fence property line of a butter 25 by 25 plots will allow ample space between the buttered property and allow Friends of the Brown Farm to request such request for the garden season of 2015, so for next year.
The board then heard brief updates from Police Chief Doug Mellis and Fire Chief Paul Morissette. Chief Mellis noted he'd received comments from a resident of Prospect Street praising one of the department's officers, Stuart Stroman, who responded to the scene of a fatal accident there last week. The chief related those comments to the board in a letter, which Selectman Paul Federici read aloud.
Unfortunately, the operator did not survive. I received a call from Mr. Harvey Boudreau, who stated that this crash had awoken him and was in front of his residence. He could not praise the rescue efforts by the police officers and firefighters highly enough in their effort. He did mention one particular officer who stayed with the victim and who was constantly reassuring her during this entire incident. The officer described by Mr. Boudreau was Officer Stuart Stroman. I thank Mr. Boudreau for calling me and letting me know of the care that was provided. He mentioned he really doesn't write letters too well and asked if I would relay his appreciation for the job done by Officer Stroman and the other emergency responders.
Chief Morissette then reviewed a report from ISO, an insurance industry risk analysis company that rates communities based on fire department training, equipment, and capabilities. Morissette noted that East Long Meadow has maintained an ISO Class 4 or above average rating for several years.
Okay. Looking at the system, we didn't change. We stayed exactly the same. We've always been at Class 4. We are still at Class 4. The ratings have a couple different extra numbers in them now, but we are still in the exact same ranking as where we were. And if you look on that page 6, we are above the average. The average is between a Class 5 and a Class 6 of the people that are surveyed.
The chief also noted the Household Hazardous Waste Day coming up on Saturday, September 13th, to be held at Minnechaug High School in Wilbraham. Residents are reminded that appointments are necessary for drop-off of materials. Those appointments may be made by calling the Selectman's office beginning September 8th.
It's the Household Hazardous Waste Regional Collection Day. Used to be held at the fire department in town. One of our issues was we didn't have enough staging for the people coming in, and we pretty much shut down Route 83 for the morning. Wilbraham, after they built Minnechaug, they have perfect staging off Tinkham Road and off Main Street. So we're in the Wilbraham parking lot on the side of their school next to Minnechaug.
In other business, the board again tabled discussion of a request from Appropriations Committee Chairman Eric Madison that the committee be involved in the selection process for a new town accountant.
Yeah, I think we also got a letter from Appropriations requesting their input when we have our interviews.
But we've already looked at that and we took it as under advisement.
Well, but we should probably make a decision on it. That's before we do the interviewing, because I don't know what. I know they actually work with the town accountant more than we do. So.
Chairman Angela Thorpe said the request was still under advisement and that the board still had time to finalize the process for filling the position. Tom Caliento has agreed to serve under a 60-day extension to his contract, which the board did not renew at the end of the fiscal year. The board also discussed at length the status of the health agent position, which remains unfilled. Chairman of the Board of Health, Billy Gorman, said that currently the backlog of inspections and complaints is being handled by a temporary agent who also works for the town of Sturbridge.
The health agent position been kind of a zoo for the last few months here because we got people that we've hired and they have quit to go other places. And the main reason was not enough money and not enough hours. We have schools, we have eating establishments, we have high grass issues, we have hoarders. I mean, we have a whole bunch of things, so.
The board agreed to propose candidates to be interviewed in the next week or so. In other news tonight, residents along Elm Street are back in their homes after a gas leak forced them to evacuate. The incident happened Friday morning, the 18th, when police say an excavator working on the Elm Street Reconstruction project hit a 10-inch natural gas main. Fire officials evacuated 7 homes near the East Longmeadow Springfield line at Elm and Cooley Streets. It took workers several hours to cap the leak. Fire officials eventually allowed residents back into their homes later that day. Meantime, the Elm Street project is moving forward on schedule, not, however, without a few frustrations from drivers. As predicted, the reconstruction of Elm Street is creating some backups, not only along the posted detours, but considerable traffic jams are reported at the East Longmeadow Rotary as well. ELCAT's Alexi Cohen has the story.
For residents who frequently travel Elm Street, you know there has been significant construction taking place, with sections of the road and side streets blocked off. The repaving of Elm Street is well in the works. DPW foreman Tony Longo gives us the details.
We're working on the new signal lights. They're going to put everything new boxes, all conduit wiring, to try to alleviate the problems that we've had in the past with the lights at this intersection. And as you can see, they're right behind us. They're planning on paving tomorrow, so we're trying to get the conduit and all today. And hopefully they can start their base pavement.
Longo says the project is currently on schedule. Paving will begin within the next few days. This may come as a relief to some because due to the construction, traffic has been backed up at the Rotary as drivers seek alternate routes.
Well, we're trying to, keep everything to a minimum. People that do live on the area, I know it's confusing because sometimes certain streets are open, and other times, like when we trench, they have to go around. So it gets a little confusing, but we just have to deal with it, and hopefully within the next few days, everything should be back to normal.
Longo also asks that residents try their best to avoid the intersection where work is taking place. As far as the next steps,
just bringing structures all back up to grade. The contractor will be doing that. As far as our work, we'll be getting off the road and let the contractor do their thing. And when everything's all set, we'll be finishing up the light work here.
The entire project is set to be completed within 2 to 3 weeks.
Now that it's open, the brand new pool at Pine Knoll is getting rave reviews. Recreation Director Colin Drury says campers and families alike are loving the new facility. A far cry from the 58-year-old pool that once occupied this space. While it served the town well for a very long time, by most accounts it was extremely outdated. Drury says a grand opening is scheduled for August 3rd to celebrate the new pool. Festivities will feature the history of the facility as well as its future.
We're really excited because I actually have the original family that owned the property coming to the event. It's going to be on August 3rd. Dave Lang and his wife are going to be coming down to just kind of be there to see the new pool, see what we've done with the facility, and hopefully through a speech that I'm writing, I can show them that we tried to keep the historical presence of the swim school at the property by how we designed it. So they're going to be coming out, as well as previous selectmen that were on the board when they purchased the property. John Whalen, the director, recreation director from back in 96, 97, will be there as well.
A new pool features a beach-styled zero entry. It is handicap accessible, it has a children's splash park feature, and is competition approved. That means the town's Marlin swim team can practice and host meets here. Drury says it's a win-win for the community.
But it's just been a great new aspect of our recreation department. We went from 8 members to over 100 members for the pool this year. So we're currently managing that, which is great. We haven't cut it off yet, but we're getting close because at this point we need to have 3 lifeguards on the weekends, and if we have to go to 4, then we'll probably shut it off then, just for safety reasons and making sure that there's enough eyes on the water.
Drury invites town residents to come to the grand opening and for kids to bring their swimsuits.
The first 200 kids that come to the event and jump in and swim one length of the pool, or stand under the raindrop or get splashed by all the fun splash stuff, they're going to get a t-shirt that says PK Aquatic Center, and on the back it says Grand Opening Swimmer. just kind of as like bringing the community together for this great new jewel that we have.
Again, the grand opening is Sunday, August 3rd at noon at the Pine Knoll Recreation Facility. Summer is a great month to hang out by the pool, but it's also a very challenging time for the East Longmeadow Food Pantry. Didn't know our town has a food bank? Officials say you're not alone. It's run by the Senior Center, and right now, organizers say the pantry shelves are bare, and they're asking for help. Once again, here's Alexi Cohen with the story.
The food pantry located at the Senior Center has been running low in summer months. Carolyn Brennan, Executive Director of the Council on Aging, tells ELCAT the food pantry is very important in town.
Well, our food pantry serves not only the seniors in town, but as well as all the families in town. And we give out, people are allowed to come in here and get 2 bags of groceries every month. And that's to help them with whatever they're struggling with. And usually it's because they're having financial struggles, they're also having an inability to get their food.
Don't be fooled, the need for food is still high throughout the summer.
There's kind of 2 myths that there's people in East Longmeadow who don't need this kind of support, and that's really not true. We support about 70 families a month. And the other myth is that that people don't need food or aren't struggling during the warmer months. And our 2 times that we are always just very low is in April and then entering the month of August.
Brennan says the majority of donations come from the community, and residents can always help.
The Cultural Council, the first Friday of every month here at our farmers market between 10 and 2, we'll be doing a food drive so people can bring food on that day. They can come to the Senior Center anytime, and typically that's what people do as well, and donate food. The Children's Library is also part of their summer reading program. The kids are going to get some incentive to bring food to donate to the open pantry. And we're really happy that there's a new business in town called P3 Auto Detailing on 50 Maple Street. They have a grand opening on August 9th, which is a Saturday. And they're going to be providing free car washes if you bring a donation to the pantry.
The pantry is in need of food right now, so donations can come in a variety of forms.
What we always need is we need tuna fish, we need pasta, cereals, we need things like canned meals like SpaghettiOs, raviolis, and spaghetti sauces, and peanut butter's huge. So those are the things that we really need. We also do accept donations for personal care, shampoo, soaps, toilet paper, paper towel, anything like that we also give out.
Donations can be dropped off any day between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. at the Senior Center, located at 305 Maple Street in East Longmeadow.
More now on a community event that's coming up next month. East Longmeadow's participation in National Night Out is just around the corner. This is a very popular event in town, especially with families and young children. This year, it is August 5th once again on the grounds of East Longmeadow High School. Town residents are invited to come on down for such things as a police canine demonstration, a chance to get up close and personal with town fire trucks, and one of the most popular parts of the event, the landing of a state police helicopter. Once again, this year's National Night Out event is August 5th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. The event is free and open to the public. Well, that will do it for us tonight. Thanks for watching ELCAT News Week in Review. I'm Yasmin Najibi. Until next week, good night.